Hi, I'm Francina,
I'm Jackie.
and welcome to the Rest, Love, and Justice podcast.
This podcast is an inquiry into whether rest and love and justice can produce transformative social change. The dominant narrative is this overwork and this glorification of it, especially in the justice space. And here, we're going to question that notion.
Come sit with us as we meet our collective humanity and share stories around rest, love, and justice. It is our hope to create a shift that enables us to recognize that racial justice work is a human issue. It affects us all.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Rest, Love, and Justice podcast. I'm Jackie Gao with my co-host,
Francina.
Welcome back. And today we want to talk about the nonprofit space, and this relates to rest, love, and justice, of course. But I'm part of this book club, and we were in a conversation about how white women run so many nonprofits in this country, and that actually there was this quote that someone wrote in the chat that was abolish white women running nonprofits, especially ones that are supposed to be serving Black and brown folks. And I thought it was a great quote. It was liked by many other people in the book club, and I just resonated with it. And so I wanted to have a conversation about that. You don't have to know a lot about the nonprofit space to kind of weigh in on this, but for me, any organization that I've either volunteered with or been a part of, like, it was either a white man or woman running that organization, even though one of them was to support refugees. And the global majority are Black and brown folks. So why was a white woman most qualified for this position when really the population that we were serving was not that? So I want to have a conversation. And I think, white women, often there's a ruffling of feathers when we talk about that group of population, which I'm a part of. But I really just want to invite us to have a conversation and think and be critical as people that maybe volunteer for organizations, people that donate to organizations. Like, how can we proactively actually see if this organization is in alignment with the goals that they say that they are?
Yeah, I feel especially that ripple around the removal of white people from certain spaces ruffles a lot of feathers, right? And you and I were talking about this earlier. And if you think about the origins of why are white people at the helm of dispensing of funds to support anything, it's because they have the funds, right? And my question is, why are the people that you're serving not invited to be part of the conversation of the dispensing of those funds, And I feel like the dynamic that ends up being set up is that they will hire Black people to do the work of the dispensing, right? But they're not part of the decision makers of, being the board members, being the executives on the boards. And I feel like as you and I are walking through that right now and trying to set up our own sort of 501c3-ish, organization, we're super conscious of it. And I just wonder how many people are even thinking about it. I think about, like, you mentioned this a lot, white saviorism, right? If you are coming into a situation and you are holding yourself in the highest esteem because I'm right and I'm gonna do good in the world, right? Which is great. But I can also see your cape flying in the back behind you as I'm gonna make a big difference in the world, right? Well, what is that difference in the world about for you, right? If you are going to make a difference in the world, can you step yourself aside to let the difference that you're making in the world emerge and be led by the people that you're making a difference for?
Absolutely.
I don't know. Like, are white people able to hold that thought even? That I want to make a difference in the world and I'm going to take my opportunity, my privilege to amplify the people that need to be doing this work.
I could say so many things here.
Go for it.
Yeah,
I'm ready for this.
Like, I fundamentally believe that if I don't have that lived experience, I cannot lead an organization that's going to support people experiencing homelessness. That's going to, I don't have a lived experience. I can support organizations that work with prison abolition, but I'm not a formerly incarcerated person. So I don't, or currently incarcerated. So I can support those, I can lift them up, but there is no way I could lead an organization with a lack of lived experience. So I think people often need to check that. And I really feel like white feminism is one of the reasons why like there's this entitlement within that movement that white women need to keep going to the top and be where they're allowed to be, which oftentimes it's comfortable, I think, for the patriarchy for white women to be leaders in the nonprofit world. So I get white women are trying to progress there, but you cannot be at the top if that is not your lived experience, in my opinion, unless there's a board of all Black and brown folks that say, this is who we want to be, that aren't corporate board members, that aren't, in that realm. Like, unless that is clearly defined, I don't think you should be there. So I think, and it's okay. Like, there's going to be people that listen that are maybe in this space, but I think we just need to be critical of that. And there is enough, I think, like, to go around, and that if you don't have that experience, you need to go support an organization.
I would like to bring up the point that as white women are climbing the staircase to the top, are they conscious of who they are walking on or over to get to the top? And I think that metaphor sits with me specifically because there are people who are living the experience that you are trying to create your offering on. Like, if I was, let's say I was a formerly incarcerated person, and you as the white woman are coming to try to set up an organization to help formerly incarcerated women, but you have to be at the helm. You are building your offering on the foundation of my lived experience. And it doesn't do me a great service when you don't have the experience of what the reality of living as a formerly incarcerated person is. Even if I'm invited to the table, it doesn't actually change the power dynamic. And I think that that shift is essential, not just for the work to be fulfilled that you're trying to put out into the world, but it's essential so that the people who are being served can be amplified and their stories come to the surface.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's so important. And I think, of course, there's people that are adjacent to different things that maybe would allow them to lead. But I think at the end of the day, like, the highest paying position at a nonprofit is the director, is the executive director. And that should be towards people in which the community, that the organization even exists to serve. Yeah. And that funneling, that redirection of money, I just think, so I think some things I look at when I'm looking at organizations I'm either volunteering with or redirecting money towards is, who's on the board? Mm-hmm. What does that look like? Yeah. And if there's no pictures, then I'm kind of critical of that too. So that's something. And then, like, kind of how corporate and capitalistic is that board? Is it all kind of executives from whatever company that's just going to toe a certain line already? And then just like the soul of the messaging that people are saying too. So I think that's the board and the leadership. Who is that, and who is that organization supposed to serve? Yeah,
I wonder. And there's lots of like pay scales online for like what standard positions are supposed to be. Is there something like that for nonprofits?
Yes,
there is
definitely.
And I just, it breaks my heart because I feel like the people that do the grunt work are the least visible in those types of those types of organizations. And doing good can be a cover for people to continue to stoke their own egos. And I think it's an important nibble for us to just kind of bring forward things that we're sitting with as we're starting to kind of figure out our own organization for a project that we're working on, which we are excited to be sharing about in the not too distant future. And as we build that, we are conscious, in our organization about how we want to set it up and whose stories are amplified, who is the front face of whatever, of the work that we're doing. And we hope that this can be an opportunity for you all as you listen to this. If you're on boards, maybe there's an opportunity to shift and invite the people that you're serving to be at the helm, right? Instead of them being the ones who get to work and are lucky to be paid to do this work. I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm not also defending I heard the term industrial complex of nonprofits, which it is. Like we've even been learning along the way, the red tape in order to do good is challenging. So I'm not even in defense of nonprofits, but I am very critical of who's leading those and who's getting the benefits, the rest that's even entitled to people at the executive director role in terms of vacation time and, health benefits and all of those. Like, how do we make some changes and really be critical as everyday folks who are connecting with nonprofits?
Yeah. All right.
Thanks everyone for being a part of this conversation today. We're grateful for your listening, and we send you off with a lot of peace, love.
Peace and love.
And that is our show for this week. This episode was produced by The City Music. As for me, I'm Jackie Gao, and thanks to my co-host, Francina Call.
May you move through this week embodying rest, love, and justice in ways that are meaningful to you and your community. Thanks for joining us today. Peace and love.